This video will show you how to take the center rotation board slides and customize them, edit them to use ready to go in your classroom. First of all, you're going to want to save a new copy of your file. Just click Save As, type in the name, and then you'll have a new file to work from, and you'll still keep your existing file saved that you can copy over later or make any adjustments from later. Alright, so now I have my file saved as Reading Centers December. First thing, I'm going to decide how many groups and rounds I need to use. You can choose 3 groups for 3 rounds, 4 groups for 4 rounds, 5 groups for 5 rounds. I have 4 groups, so I'm going to delete the other slides, and it's okay because they're saved in my other file since this is a copy. So I'm just going to go ahead. There's 2 options. You can do one with the group numbers on the sides, or you can do one where you type the students' names on the sides. I'm going to use the one with the group numbers on the sides since my students know their groups. Now you are going to either type here in each box what you want them to do, or you can scroll down to the end of the slides and get some images. I'm going to go ahead and get some images. You can also change at the top the title of the centers. I'm going to actually do this, for Reading Centers, so I'll just leave it the same. If you call it Stations, you can change it. If the font is showing up weird for you, you'll want to just install this font, KG Blank Space Solid. It is on this slide right here, linked, so you can go ahead and go to that link. And then I'm going to decide which things my students are doing. They're going to be doing a word work center. If you hold down Command while you select the options, then you don't have to copy them over one by one. So they have a word work center, they have a listening center, they have a writing center, they have a read to self center. Actually this time we're going to skip writing and do a reading group center. So I'm going to just copy those 4 and go ahead and go up here, and then I can just drag them over to where I want them. So group 1 is going to go like this. And then you can just adjust and rotate, so then word work would go here in the pink box for group 2, read to self right here, and so on. Okay, so now you can see all of my centers are set on this main board, ready to go. You can use this one if you want to add a timer. Those are also down here on the bottom. Here are the timers, so if you want to have a timer that goes automatically on the slides, then you can definitely just copy that, and then you could resize it too and stick it over here, or you could scoot these words over and stick it, or shrink them with the font sizes and stick it over in the corner, wherever you want to do it. The other option you can do is have 1 slide for each round. So you could use this to show the students what they're going to be doing, and then go ahead and play 1 slide for each round so they can just see that certain center. So I'm just going to copy these again, grab the first round. On the round 1, 2, 3, 4 slides, there's also, you can see here there's only 3 groups. So that is from if you had only 3 groups going. So I'm going to delete those out. There's also options for 5 groups. So I'm going to delete those out as well. There are also blank slides for round 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to customize, resize, type, things like that, you can do that. I'm not going to use that one today, so I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to go here to my round 1 slide. I'm going to copy and paste those images from this slide, or you can copy them from the end down here again. And then I'm going to just put them where they go for each different group. So group 2 is going to be doing listening. Oops. You can see here the title of each of these little cards is also editable. So if you call your reading group phonics group, you can just click right there in the text box and change it. And you could change it all the way down here on these ones. So it's changed for all of them anytime you copy it. Or if you're just changing it for the day, you can just change the name right there on the icon for that day. You can also resize, just drag, click, and then make sure you're clicking in the box that is grouping all of this together. And then you can resize by just dragging in the corner and making it bigger if you would like to. And then right here is a spot for you to put your timer. I'm going to go ahead and do 10 minutes for each group. So I'm just going to copy the 10-minute timer and stick it right there. These timers autoplay when you present the slides. So as soon as you go into slideshow mode, then the timer will just start automatically. So then you can go ahead and do the same for round 2, 3, 4, and then you can also add a transition slide. So this one, there's a 1-minute timer that you can put in here. You can change the wording here if you want something different for your steps on a transition. And then you can just copy this slide or Command D and duplicate it, or right click and duplicate slide. And then you can stick one in between each of these round slides. You can also go into grid mode, which might be easier to see at a glance where you need to add your transition slide and dragging it in between. So I have now my main reading center slide. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I have round 1, I have a transition. I have round 2, I have a transition. I have round 3, I have a transition. I have round 4, I have a transition. And that's really, this one I would probably change the title and to say clean up. And then this one would be, you know, transition to the next activity basically, or be ready to go for the next activity. And then you are finished. So when you're ready to present this in your classroom, you can delete out anything extra. You can delete out these slides because remember this is a copy, so you'll have your original file with the other ones saved. Or you can leave them and just know this is the last slide. It won't auto advance through the slides unless you play it that way. So then if you want your slides to play automatically, what you're going to need to do is go to the Transitions tab in your PowerPoint, and you need to make sure there is a transition. So you click one of these. I'm just going to do something simple like fade. And then over here, this duration is the duration for the transition. So just takes 0.25 seconds to fade. Then if you want to add a sound, you can choose a sound. You want to make sure on mouse click is unselected so that it just goes without being clicked. And then the after, check after, and then choose the amount of time you want that slide to play for. So after the dot is seconds, I'm just going to make this go for 10 seconds right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to my next slide. This one, I want another fade transition. I am going to make the duration of the transition nice and short. This one I'm going to put a sound. I'm just going to do a chime, and then I'm going to make this one go for 10 minutes. So after the dot is seconds, before the dot is minutes. Now this one is set up for 10 minutes to go on that one, and a chime to play when it switches to this one. Then on the transition slide, I'm going to do another fade, a short transition. I'm going to do another sound so they can hear it. And then I'm going to make sure this is set for 1 minute, just like this. Then you'll just keep going through and doing that setup for each slide so it auto plays. But then one more thing you need to do when you're all set with each slide is to go to the slideshow tab and hit setup slideshow. Here you're going to want to toggle to browse at a kiosk full screen, show without narration, check that, make sure slides all is checked, and then also you can just do automatic right here, and then click OK. And then you'll go to your first slide, and then you'll just click the slideshow, and you can see it just played automatically. That one was short because I set that first one to be short just for this example. And then that is all set to go.